It is time for your favorite Android podcast from the combined crew of blindandroidusers.com and accessibleandroid.com. Now, kick back and enjoy another fine episode from these Android fanboys and gals as they navigate Android from a blindness perspective. And now, here's your crew. Hello, and welcome to episode 123 of the Blind Android Users podcast. We're recording today on April the 15th, 2023. I'm Warren Carr alongside with my co-hosts. I got Karen, the pretty one, hiding somewhere there. We were waiting for her. Nice to have you in, Karen. Austin Pinto, Doug Cameron, John Dyer, Sally Cundas, and a very special guest from lite-on-dev, developer of Telelight. Coming up, we have the Android Basics, the Spotlight, where we talk with our guest, and then we conclude today's episode with a tip of the week from Ed. Cam, let's begin with you, my man. What's going on with you guys? Are you guys observing the kind of weather we're having here, up and down, snow and all of that?
Oh, hell no. It's the snow is pretty much completely gone. There's only a little bit now remaining in our river valley. For the most part, we're sitting in the low to mid teens for Celsius. So I believe that sits anywhere between about 60 and about 75 Fahrenheit. Yeah, it's been pretty nice out here. So this weekend, just doing some housework. Next weekend, it's time for yard cleanups. So it's not too bad.
Talking about yard cleanup, yesterday we had such a wonderful weather out there, and my wife and I were sitting out there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at the lilacs starting to bloom, and then you have this little snow that comes in, and I'm like, gosh, it's almost time for that yard work again. And then today, it's all gloomy, and I'm glad I'm indoors doing the podcast and I'm not out there. So Karen, what's going on at your end? Are you eating some good food? What's going on, my dear?
Hello. Actually, here we are famous for our food, so sure, I'm eating good food. And
That's what
about
I'm
the weather,
looking for.
yeah, definitely. And actually, we were having rain this week, so it was a rainy week, but the temperature is considered moderate. So yeah, everything is cool.
Wonderful. Austin, what's going on? Are you still hot? Austin is becoming the hot thing, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm still hot. Mumbai is boiling this week, but then it rained at some parts. Now it has become a little pleasant, I can say, little less hot. So yeah, we will be hot till at least June, mid-June or something. But another nice thing is, another thing is that I won't be in the podcast next week because we have an occasion in the family, and I think Warren will tell you more about it.
So, in other words, Austin is getting married. Nah, not Austin, but Austin's brother's getting married. And congratulations to the young people, your brother who is getting married. And even though we're not going to be able to be with you guys, but maybe you could record a few clips of that ceremony, and we could maybe, with your permission or your brother's permission, maybe play a little snippet of that, especially the I do part. I think
I will be doing. I'll be.
We have a very
very
important question here.
Go ahead, Doc.
7 days, Austin? Is it a 7-day event or is it a 3-day event?
What's a 7 day and a 3 days? So 1 day event.
My buddy Nikhil it was either 3 or 7 day wedding.
So yeah, if you are not Catholic, then it's a long, very long event.
Oh damn, son. You're missing out.
But you guys are Catholic, so you're not doing all that, lots of the traditional stuff. So
it's a 2 days. It's a 2-day event, actually, not a full 2 days, but it's like a 2 day, 1.5 day, 1.25 day event.
Damn.
And all those 2 days is a lot of food, right? Because that's the part I like.
Yeah, a lot of food and drinks.
Thank you. John, what's going on, my man?
Hey, I'm doing good. It's good to be back. I only missed a couple weeks, but it seems like a lot longer to me. It's been a long 2 weeks. Last Saturday was my wife's birthday and my son's birthday. They have the same day. He turned 3, she turned 40. So that was a big weekend last weekend, but the weather is hopefully
29.
yeah, exactly. But the weather's I think it's warm for good now. At least I hope so because I went up in the attic and adjusted my dampers on my HVAC system to I basically converted it into summer mode. It's my house. It gets hot upstairs in the summer, cold downstairs, or hot upstairs in the winter, cold downstairs in the summer if I don't go fiddle with that stuff up in the attic. So hopefully I timed it right.
You guys had a wonderful time during the birthday celebrations.
Yeah, everything went good.
Lots of food and, all that cake. I think that's what people like the most. I mean, I happen to be one of those, though, that really don't care about cakes, but I like the food. That's usually my most important part.
Same here. I did not have cake at either event, but I definitely ate a lot. No room for cake, I guess.
Wonderful. It makes two of us. All right, Sally, it's your turn, my man. And thank you so much, most importantly, for inviting our guest. Now, what's going on with you? Is it still raining there in Turkey?
Well, in Turkey, the weekdays were rainy, but this Saturday is like 22 degrees Celsius. We are having a really sunny day. And yeah, it's quite interesting today. Wasn't expecting such a sunny day and enjoying this one. Yeah, I'm glad to have Aston here, the devs from lite-on-dev. It was a really nice one.
And I think there's just only 1 week left for Eid. Is it correct?
Yeah, only a couple of days and then the Ramadan is over. Yeah.
And then you got the big feast.
Yes.
It's the party time, right?
Yeah, sure.
I love that party time.
Yeah.
This is Android Basics, in which we bring you up to date on the things that you should know to use your Android phone.
We move on now to the Android Basics segment, and this week we're talking about the Android 14 beta, the very first beta that just dropped on Wednesday. Was that Wednesday? I think I'm right? Does anyone remember?
Yeah, I think it was Wednesday.
Yeah. So we got this beta, and that's what we're talking about today. Not much, though, in the way of any change. Usually, the beta is usually fixing things from, developer previews and adding other things that were hidden. However, I think if we talk about features, usually I'm looking for things relating to those of us, with accessibility needs. And frankly, I haven't seen anything new necessarily. John, did you see anything new with respect to accessibility?
No, nothing new. And all the bugs I was noticing before are still there. So it's very similar to the developer preview. But we have a lot more betas. So, what is it? 3 more or 4 more before the final?
We got 3 more, May, June, and July. Now, talking about problems that I saw or, that I've observed so far, though, I think the most annoying one for me, though, was the one that got brought in with DP2. And that was the one I mentioned here when we talked about it. That's the one that says that com.android.qns has stopped. And that I was hoping, though, that it would be fixed with the beta drop, but it has not. And then I figured out, I dug through it, and I realized that problem is being caused by cellular connectivity. If you don't have a SIM card in there, you are good. Another thing that I found was that for some odd reason, it kept changing my time zone. Every time I try to reset it, it puts me on Eastern time zone for some reason. And I don't know why that is. But that's the problem, especially with that QNS has stopped working. It's a very bad bug, and I hope that Google fixes that with a little update or maybe the next beta. With respect to some new things, though, Austin, there was something that you and I were seeing in DP2 that was a little bit unexplainable. Like, for example, if someone calls you on regular phone or on Duo, we were seeing that thing was showing a notification but was not showing as a full screen notification. So what was going on, though, I have found out, was that there was a feature that Google had rolled out during that DP2, and it basically was placing your calls in the notifications. But now in the beta 1, if you go into apps and then go into spatial access and move all the way down to where it says manage full screen intents, there you can choose to whether have your app take the whole screen when you have such a notification. For example, if someone calls you on the phone, or if someone calls you on Duo or whatever. I keep calling it Duo. Duo is gone. Google Meet or WhatsApp or Telegram. You could choose to not have it take the whole screen. And that's what was going on. But now we have that by default. They will all show on full screen. But if you don't like that, then you can choose to not make it so. Let me navigate now to that segment so I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Unlocked. Special app access. Device and app.
So here I am in my system settings, and I have already moved to apps and then special apps. And now here's what I'm talking about. It says
Manage full screen intents. 18 of 19.
So if you go in here,
Settings. Search. But
by default, all of them are set to show full screen. And you can just tap on it and change it. Because, for example,
clock. Allowed. In list. Fight electric. Allowed.
So as you can see, all the apps are allowed. So if
Ring
you don't,
Central. Allowed.
if you don't want it,
Skype. Allowed.
you tap.
Skype. 8.95.0.412. Out of list. On. Allow apps to send full screen intents. Switch.
And there's that switch there to the right in the middle on the right edge of the phone, and you can turn that off. So if you don't want to see that full screen notification of these apps, in other words, if I call you on Skype and you don't want the whole thing taking on your screen, you can go in here and turn it off. And so that's the one positive that I saw that has come from this beta 1 that we have. Something to talk about. And then the black notification bar, or rather the search bar, like if you are in an app, for example, and you have like a little Google search bar, showing there. Now they've made that to be transparent so that it kind of, even if the app doesn't support like a dynamic whatever, so it becomes transparent. So it's not hiding anything that is coming from that native app. So those are probably two of the positive things that have come through. And also the when you go back with your gesture, the back gesture, that's a visual thing. We don't have Talkback saying anything because we don't have a new Talkback in this new beta. And it's one of the things that I was not very happy about. But I noticed, though, that when I hooked up my charging cable, like a very lame charging cable, it tells me, hey, this cord is not very good, or, it's not delivering enough power, and you can see it there in the notification. So that's something new that I saw in there. So that's some of the things that I've observed. John, you saw anything else besides the bugs that, have persisted?
No, like you, I was looking forward to the possibility of a new version of Talkback, but I guess they're skipping that this year, at least for the first beta. I mean, maybe we'll get one, in later beta, but don't they usually release them with the first beta?
So here's how the tradition has been. The tradition has been that the first developer preview usually comes with a new talkback. And the only time that Google broke this tradition was back in 2022 with the first developer preview of Android 13. There was none until the very first beta of Android 13. And I was thinking that maybe they were going to follow the same tradition and bringing us a new talkback with the first beta in Android 14. But no, they didn't. So maybe in beta 2 or maybe beta 3, or who knows, we may not even see it till the final release. And we'll just wait it out and see what happens.
Yep, only time will tell.
Only time will tell. Austin, did you see anything in here that you want to talk about besides the problems that we have? Of course, now and then I notice also that though it will, if you are hearing your talkback saying talkback is on, what I've observed is that my system actually does like a halfway reboot. It's kind of like a looping boot, if you will. It's like it's trying to shut down and then comes back on, and that's when you hear that talkback is on, and then it asks you now to enter your PIN again. It's very annoying, and I was hoping that would be fixed with the beta, but it hasn't. So if you don't need the beta for now, frankly, probably it's not a good thing to jump into it. If you have only one phone and you're relying on that, maybe it's not a good idea to jump onto the beta until maybe beta 2 if things have improved. But if you don't mind this box, then you can go ahead and jump in.
Yeah, and if you are one of the brave souls who uses it, make sure to report feedback. It's really easy. There's going to be an app in your app drawer called Feedback, and it's pretty accessible and it's pretty straightforward how you can submit the feedback. It'll take error reports from your phone. You can describe the issue. You can submit a screen recording if you want to. So it's very important because, that's why we test the betas, because we want these things to be fixed by the time it's released. So keep that in mind.
Thank you so much, John.
This is the Spotlight segment. Stay tuned for premium interviews, device unboxing, and more.
We now move on to our Spotlight segment, and today we're spotlighting on lite-on-devs and especially focusing on the Telegram client. And I'm so proud to announce that this is the very first accessible Telegram client, and we're talking about Telelight. We have our guest here from lite-on-devs, and we do want to welcome you. Sally, would you want to welcome him, because you've known him longer than any of us has? And so let me cede that to you to welcome our guest.
I would like to say welcome developer from lite-on-devs, developing Telegram, the first and the most accessible Telegram client for Android. So welcome aboard. How are you?
Thank you, Saleh. We've been meeting each other actually virtually during the podcast that Saleh and their friends had, and I'm really glad that you invited me here also to talk about Telelight and other projects that lite-on-devs have and may have in the future. Thanks.
So before we start, I would like to say that lite-on-devs, the guys from lite-on-devs, are giving away 1 month free subscription for whoever install our app Accessible Android. So just go ahead on Google Play Store, install Accessible Android, and find a post that says, "Get 1 month free for Telelight," and fill the form, and you will get your redemption code. And over to you, Warren.
Thank you so much for that nice gesture from you there, you guys from lite-on-devs. We're so thankful that you actually giving our people or our listeners a free trial, 1 month free. So guys, if you want to try this before you subscribe to it, this is your opportunity. And we're so thankful to you guys for doing this. Let's go ahead now. I have a burning question, and probably being the historian, I always like, historical background. So go ahead and tell us what led you guys to developing Telelight in the first place. Were you not satisfied with what was going on out there? Because you guys have been in the field for quite a while now. And so take us down that history memory lane as to what led you to developing Telelight.
Thank you. So just to mention where it all started, it was 2018. Yes, I guess. And back then, the Telegram app, the official client, was not accessible at all. Even the menus, even a small part of the name, even the app's name itself, I guess it was not read by the Talkback. So we were approached by a group of users, a group of visually impaired users. Actually, they were based on internet. I mean, we were approached virtually and by some local ones also. And we found out that there are many users around the globe that they suffer this problem, that the Telegram client is not accessible at all. So we found petitions that were written to the door of the CEO of the Telegram from users coming from Spain, Germany, Iraq, a lot of places, Ukraine, Russia, a lot of places in the world. So we saw that it's really a big deal, a big problem, affecting many users, and we also saw some business opportunities in this. So we started the development. It was just 3 or 4 months before we could announce that we have reached the technology, the design and process needed to make the app accessible, make it completely accessible. We were just giving away demos, not installable demos, just audio demos of the parts of the app that were working. We were doing it for one demo a week or one demo per 2 weeks, like this. And after 3 to 4 months, we started implementing. We started gathering all the parts together, and within 2 months, I guess, we made the first installable demo already. That was it. It was published. At first, it was published outside of Google Play Store or any Android stores because users had many problems. Users had many problems with doing the payments. There were captchas all over the Android market, so they were not kind of. It was a kind of easy for them to do the payments. Also, some users did not have access to payment methods for Google Play in their country. Especially, I remember that India, they were really impressed. They were really they really wanted to install and use the app, and even they were even ready to buy the app, but back then it was not the payment methods. The payment methods were not that good in India, so it was published outside by giving the official APK in our website, doing updates that way, the similar way. I mean, it was nearly 1 year ago that we decided to moved to Google Play Store because the payment methods accessibility were they were made better for users in parts of the world. That's the whole story in a compact form.
Thank you so much. Now, let's talk about some of the features that make this actually stand out apart from the official Telegram client. What are some of the benefits that one gets when they install Telelight?
Okay, so at first in 2018, we were just focusing on making the app itself accessible, the Telegram itself accessible, because it was not accessible at all. But by a few months, we realized that users are expecting more from Telelight. But let me tell you this one, that even now that we are speaking, making all parts of the Telegram accessible is a challenge. It's still a challenge, because Telegram, they're adding features, especially these days, these months, they're adding features more than any time. So there are always some parts, some UI elements, some workflows, some labels that have been remained that have not made accessible by the Telegram team. So we are so one of our main focuses still in 2023 is to make all the details of the app accessible. So it's still a value provided for users who want to have all the details, all small parts of their app accessible. Other things that we've done, we have created. We have created an alternative form of design for reading text, for reading menus, and by that I mean we have made some polls for users, and we understood that they're not very satisfied with the way that Telegram works regarding swiping the messages and reading them, because the way that Telegram does this is just like WhatsApp. They make the part, they break down the message to many separate parts, and you should swipe on all of them. But we found that it makes it harder for users to do quick swiping, to be fast in the application, and to navigate fastly. So we came with a novel kind of design that we make all of the message, the whole message, one swipe. You can by swiping you can move between a message to another one, but you have also options in your long press menu to access the specific parts of the of that message which may be interesting for you. You may want to click on them, you may want to copy them. For example, in a message you have mentions, you have links, you have buttons for polls if the message type is poll. You have buttons for bots. You have many types of messages that may have specific parts that should be clicked separately. We have made them accessible in a long press menu. Another a notable feature we made was kind of again a kind of an alternative design that let the users to decide which parts of the message and in which sequential form should be read by the Talkback. I mean, in which order. I mean, because again, if you think of the Telegram's official design, the message are separated to many parts, and they are read just by the order they're shown on the screen. We realize that users sometimes don't want to they may don't want to read the date of the message, read the subject of the message. They may be interested in the body of the textual body of the message alone. So we made this. So we made two menus, which is customized messages and customized chats. The same problem exists for the list of the chats. In the main page, you see the list of the channels, groups, and private chats you have. You may, if you navigate through the official Telegram app, it will read all the details of each chat for you, each chat element in the list for you. The users may not be interested in all of them. For example, they may not be interested in the last time, on the time that the last message was sent on that chat. So by these two menus, we separated all these parts. Although the text message is read in a whole by Talkback, but we let the users, in these menus, we let the users to choose which part they want Talkback to read. They can turn it on or off, and they can change the order. For example, they want the date to be read at first but last. We have implemented professional microphone. They can do some triggering to their voice when recording voices. We have implemented professional audio controls. They can more precisely, they can choose how fast they want text, or they want the music or the voice to be fast forwarded or to be fast backwarded. So they can choose by more options how much they want the music or audio to be skipped. And that's it. We have increased the number of accounts they want to have. They can have on the Telegram. It's now 3 in the original client. It may have an increase to 4 or 5. I don't know exactly now, but we let the users to have up to 10 accounts on one client, and that's it. The list, it's so much. I just tried to
Yeah, I understand.
introduce the top ones for you.
Yeah, there's one thing that though always bugs me with Telegram, and I'm not sure if you guys have addressed this problem, and that has to do with granular reading of a message. For example, let's say Austin sent me a message, and I have read it, and I want to read that message maybe word by word or line by line. With the official Telegram client, I cannot do that. Is that a possibility with Telelight or not?
As I remember, yes, it should be. It's one of the features I implemented myself, as I remember. Actually, it should be a feature present in all the text in the Android OS. So you should have all these. I mean, it's an OS level control that you should have to. You should have the possibility to choose between reading by lines or reading by words, and they were, for some reason, became inaccessible in the official Telegram. So we made them accessible again. Yes, that is present, if I'm not mistaken. You should check it yourself, and we will check it ourselves also. And if you find any, because they are spread in all parts of the program, and we should just make them accessible one by one. So if the users find any place that the possibility is not there, they can just comment us, and we will fix it in the next updates.
And I will let my other co-hosts ask, but how about secret chat? Because John and I were trying to do a secret chat on the official Telegram client. And John, you remember that thing worked? I don't think it worked. Did it work? It
It
didn't
did not
work.
work on. We tried Nicogram, and that's where we got it to work, but it did not work for us in the official Telegram client.
That's right.
I ask you to try it on Telelight because we have tried and it is working okay on our side. We are not. Let me say this: we are not just throwing some updates, throwing some features, and doing some modifications and making an update. Each update is going through a very large amount of a high number of people, actually. For example, let me say the exact number. In our group, yes, we have exactly 10 people testing the application in the inside level when it's still developing. So after that, we have 2 release channels, a beta channel, and actually we have yes, we have 2 channels, a beta channel and a production channel. The beta channel is for all users. They can join it. They can test the beta version of the application. So at first we implement the features. We implement. We fix the bugs we find in each version. Then we test it internally. Like 4 or 5 people we tested internally and thoroughly. We with as much as precision we can. Then we give it to our testers group, internal testers group, around 10 people. They just dig every part of the application, every detail. They do secret chats, they do video chats, they do the voice calls, video calls, any kind of feature that may not even be useful for visually impaired persons, but we want all parts of the application to function correctly. Then it goes to our beta channel, and all users who have joined it can test it and report bugs. And then after at least 2 weeks to 1 month that it has been tested by the public, it goes to our production channel, which is the stable channel. So yeah, I can guarantee that all parts are being tested in different levels and for many times before reaching the production level. But again, some bugs may remain, and that's where the users even the production users who do not dare to join the beta one, they can report it, and we will sure fix it in the next version.
John here. I had a comment for you and a question. First, I want to say I'm glad you mentioned earlier how you can adjust what is read in each message depending on what you want to hear, and how it's by default set 1 swipe between messages. Because the question we get a lot, and especially from users that are coming from iOS, is they don't necessarily understand at first when they're swiping through groups that there's a node for the message, and then following that there's a node that's a snippet of a reply. So they think they're jumping all over the conversation, and they think their messages are being cut off when it's just reading that snippet part. So I think it's great that by default you have all that in 1 swipe. I think it makes it a lot less confusing for new users. So I'm glad you're doing that. And then the question I had for you is, I wanted to know if you guys are supporting topics in groups yet, because that's something Telegram has implemented recently, and they didn't do a great job on it, in my opinion. I mean, it's usable, but I wouldn't call it accessible because it's a little confusing and there's a couple of unlabeled buttons and stuff. So I'm just curious if you guys have gotten topics to work in groups, or if that's something you're currently working on.
Okay, so at first, thank you for for admiring the features of swiping with swiping the message with one swipe, because it's it's kind of a logical issue. I completely get what you mean, because when you break down the message and swipe by parts, it's clear that each message does not have a constant number of parts, so the number of parts are dynamic, and the user may get lost and may think that he's swiping other messages while he's actually in the same message. Yeah, it was designed from the first version that we released back in 2018. Still remains the same. We've been under a lot of pressure to change it to the default Telegram design, but it was not the thing that users wanted, so we kept it this way. About the topics, yes, it was introduced. I wish I had the exact numbers of the versions and exact names of the versions so I could tell you. It was just 2 versions ago, I think, 2 or 3 versions ago, that Telegram introduced these topics, and it was at first version it was completely inaccessible. We were not ready to move to the then Telegram released another version which was to some degree accessible to some degrees, but we were not ready to move our production channel to that version. So we just borrowed those features, those source codes that were making the topics accessible, and brought them to our base source code, our current source code, and made the topics accessible. But it was also 1 or 2 versions ago for us. So right now, as we are speaking, our production level has reached the version which Telegram made topics accessible as much as they are pleased with. And we also have made other accessibility corrections to that part. I remember. I should find the exact notes to tell you which parts we have made accessible extra to the Telegram. But yes, we have worked on that, and the basic functionality is there. You can use it. One crucial part was still inaccessible, and we made it accessible. It should be in our notes. Users can reach to our Google Play page and look through the changelog. They will find it there.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
So I have questions. The first thing is, I had bought a subscription of the app. I think 2019 or maybe before 2020, that time the app was not in the Play Store, and in India we had to buy the subscription from sellers. It was for about $3 to $4 that time. So I still have the license key. So now that the app is on the Play Store, what do I need to do, or do I need to re-purchase the subscription? My other question is, does Telelight have a app for Windows desktops? Because always when I call Warren or mostly someone on Telegram and the screensaver comes, if I close the screen of the laptop, the voice just disappears.
So about your first question, yes, when we were selling the application outside of Google Play, we had resellers. We had a reseller program, and we had resellers in different countries, especially in India. So we have not revoked any of those licenses that we've sold before Google Play. They're all steered there because we have sold them with such that they will be permanent licenses, but we had a minimum guarantee time on how long we will update the application. And as I remember, in our last update, the number was 10 months, I guess. So after 10 months, we quitted updating the app, but the license should work as long as the version of the client you have is working with Telegram servers. The problem is that the Telegram itself is it's abandoning its just discouraging users to use the old versions, and in some point it's completely disables their functionality. So I guess all old versions that we were our last source code was based on, I guess they are now all out of functioning. But if you find some version that's working, you can use the license with that. For going on with the Google Play version, you have to subscribe to the Google Play, and unfortunately, nothing is transferable here because of the mechanism that the Google Play works. But anyways, no licenses would have even remain to transfer, because we just did the 10-month guarantee that we promised for our last version. I guess it was like 1.5 year after that, after our last version outside of Google Play, that we moved onto Google Play. So all the buyers' guarantee time should have expired by the time. And your second question, I could not exactly understand it. Are you talking about the Talkback on Windows platform? I mean, the Telelight.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Telelight app on Windows. Is there such an app?
We have not made such an app, but there is something. I'm not sure if it will help. I've not looked into it myself deeply. The Google has it has made the Play Store available on their Chromebooks, on their Chromebook laptops, and it's in newsletters that it sends to developers and such. It's promoting that it will be do this. It will do the same thing to Windows platform. I guess right now we have something available there for some of the apps. I'm not sure. I've not looked into it, but there's some opportunities in now or maybe in the future that you can use the same Android version, the same Android version of your on your Windows laptop. But for developing the native application on Windows, we have no such program yet, because of a whole team, even the parts that are working on the cited applications or games, all of them are currently focused on the mobile platforms.
So I have a few questions. The first one is about reactions. You know that in Telegram, the official client, if you hit the expand button when you are selecting reactions, all the reactions will not be accessible until the user chooses one. So is this accessible in the Telelight? This is my first question. The second one is related to subscription plans. What are the subscription plans, the prices and stuff? And my last question is about support. There's a problem in the applications which are specific to blind people, that usually features take time to be implemented. So this is compared to mainstream applications. Is this available, or you are doing like trying to be releasing features on time, so people don't wait for years before a feature will be implemented? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I got all the questions, but I'm kind of forgetting them. The first one was about
reactions.
Yes, reactions.
Are they accessible? Yes.
Correct. Yes. Okay, so about the reactions, there are some points that you should care for when you are speaking about the reactions. Reactions are not all the reactions are not available anywhere. That's that's a limitation by Telegram. But actually, the possibility that Telegram has made for the admins of the channels or groups to limit the set of reactions which user can use on the posts. So that may be the reason you do not see some of the reactions. But for example, let's suppose that we have 20 number of reactions available to users, and if you, in this case, if you look at the visual layout of the application of the official Telegram, because not all of the reactions will not all of them could be shown on the screen at once. Not all of the 20 or 30 or whatever. So it's kind of a vertical scrolling menu, not menu, a vertical scrolling layout that you should scroll vertically to reach other reactions. That's so it should be available by swiping. I mean, by swiping, it should auto scroll if the Talkback is working correctly. We have made a new menu which shows you all the reactions. You have access to that. Your second question about subscriptions, about as much as I know, you are asking about the prices, yes? How
Yes,
much
exactly.
it is, or so the of a pricing policy is that it is it follows the general rules that all the subscription apps on Google Play follow, meaning that the price is kind of same in all parts of the world. So it is something between the different. I mean, the differences are so much that you can just ignore them. The price is somewhere between 1.5 to $2 a month, depending on where you are buying these the subscription, because the taxing stuff, the exchange rates, they are all different, and there's nothing we can do about it. So with little differences, it's in this range of the price that I told you, with exception in some countries, because of their economy, they cannot. It's not that we are giving some kind of discount for them, but because of the because it's for the sake of the business. It's for the sake of the business model, because of their the type of economy they have, and by economy I mean the proportion between the U.S. dollar and their own native currency, local currency. They are not able to pay these prices. Actually, no one prices their applications like that in those countries. For example, Turkey is an example of that, and some other countries. If you see it, all the applications, all games on Google Play, even the subscription to Telegram Premium is like this. All the games on the Steam platform, even on other platforms, it's like that. They made some exceptions for some countries, for example, Turkey, and not by so much, but they press a little bit different, maybe by 20-30% less than other parts. That's our whole pricing policy. And your third question, I
Is there an annual subscription or just monthly?
It's just monthly. We are planning to add the annual one because the users have requested so much, but it requires some technical investigations. We have some both technicalness and business requirements to be able to implement this. So it may take some time, but we are just moving towards it.
And about the support, yeah, I know that currently it's developing. It's in active development. But what
Yeah,
was the case before and after that? Because it's a paid subscription actually.
Yeah. About the support, it's the Telegram was the Telelight was in active development since 2018. We have not stopped or even paused the development for a long time. But the thing is that the features, especially now that we are on Google Play platform, it's as you said, it's subscription based. We are more, we should be more dedicated in providing the latest version for the users because they're paying the subscription fees. We are already doing this. I can guarantee you that we are already doing this. But the thing is that code base for the official Telegram app is so big. It's a lot of code actually. It's just literally it's near one 1 gigabyte of only data, 1 gigabyte of only code, not even considering the images or the built libraries or so on. It's nearly 1 gigabyte of just code, just literally just written code. So the so the code base is so large, the functionalities are so diverse, the details are so much that it is surely a difficult task to maintain this code base for the Telegram itself. Despite their very larger team, they have a larger team than us. They have more experience and such. So managing that, and we have made a lot of changes to that code. In nearly 5 years, we have made a lot of changes to that code. So maintaining all of that, and in the updates, if when a new code, when new commits for the code are pushed to GitHub, and you get them, you see that even in some old parts of the code which you have made accessible and finished them long time ago, like 2 years ago, you see that even those parts are changed sometimes. So maintaining the code, let alone making the new features accessible and such, and fixing the bugs. So the thing is that it's really a huge work, a huge code base, huge change of the codes to maintain. So it will take some time, but we guarantee that the development is always active. We have introduced the beta channel so that users can get. So we, when we reach a little bit of confidence that this update is nearly ready, we push it to the beta channel so users can benefit from that earlier than the users of the production channel. We have made all these kind of things to at first to get the bugs from the public users, and also to make it to deliver the software to them as fast as we can, maybe a little bit faster than the production channel. So that's it. And it will take some time to reach the production channel. It will take some time for an update to reach the production channel. We cannot do much about it, but it's guaranteed that it will make its way. Yes, make its way to that level.
Great, thank you very much. But just I have one comment regarding the granularity issue, which is that Joshua screen reader users will not have this problem. It's just specific to Talkback. Thank you.
So it's specific to Talkback. In other which other screen readers do not have this problem.
Jishuo, the commentary screen reader or Jishuo is working well. You know this Chinese one which is popular currently?
Yes.
It
Yes,
works well with you can read. Yeah, you can read messages with the characters, words, and stuff. But only Talkback is having this issue. I don't know why actually.
Okay, I'm just taking note of this, and users can also report it to us in comments in Google Play, and we'll look into it for next version if there's a problem with Talkback.
This I want to clarify. I'm talking about the official Telegram actually, not the Telelight. I don't know about Telelight, but we're talking about the official one.
It's the same question that your friend asked. So in Telegram, we have made it accessible. I'm remembering that I implemented this feature myself. We have in Telelight, we have made it accessible to move by lines, words, etc. So just check it, and if it's maybe broken some parts in recent versions, we will fix it. Also, from the previous version on, we are also testing the commentary screen reader to some degrees. For example, it was not working in the our customized chat or customized messages menu was not working correctly with commentary. So we made it, we fixed that in our latest version, and from for future versions we'll be also testing this screen reader and maybe other ones.
So in reality, basically what Karen was doing was she was taking a jab at me as a Talkback, as a Talkback user, saying, "Hey, you know that problem that I have, wherein I cannot say Karen sends me a message, I cannot granularly read her message whether line by line, word by word, that this is possible with the native Telegram client with the confused screen reader, commentary screen reader." So that's what she was not talking about you, but she's taking a jab at me, and I get it.
So please, our listeners, please install commentary if you want to solve the problem, or Telelight.
So I got that. I totally got it. Thank you so much for your responses, and we are so thankful that you have made this app available. And now, if you're a Talkback user like me and you want to be able to read those sent messages that you've received and be able to read those messages in a granular manner, then definitely you need to get Telelight, and most especially if this thing is being given for up to 30 days free trial. As a listener to the podcast, just follow that information that we'll be putting in there in the show notes. Just go ahead and install that accessible Android app, and you will be good to go and be able to have access to Telelight for 30 days, and that's a beautiful thing.
Can you just tell us some of the projects that lite-on development is doing in short, apart from Telelight?
Okay, yes, that's also an interesting part. We were approached by Telelight users like 2 or 3 years ago when we reached a great peak of users. We were approached by them asking if we do anything about accessible games, because they were really interested in playing accessible games, and by research we understood that there are literally none. There are very few for mobile platforms that literally there's no ecosystem there. So we were just thinking about it for a long time. It was 2020 that we decided to create a demo just to test just to test if the users are really pleased with these kind of things. We created a game called Accessible 3D Audio Maze Game, which is also of a same developer page. Users can download it from Google Play. It was nearly 2 years ago, 2020, that we made it as a beta game. Not even a beta, it was just a demo with one playable level, which users could test it and just comment that if they like it. We got a really nice feedback, especially from some local users, like Spain. We get like 3,000 or 4,000 downloads from Spanish people, Spanish community of visually impaired, and they really liked the game. They made a lot of feedbacks, just asking for more levels. It was really interesting for us that they were satisfied by the quality. They were just asking because, as I said, literally there are no serious games for visually impaired users on Android. So a little bit of quality just satisfies them. It's really an interesting area of both technical work and both by the business perspective to approach. So we made an update and launched this game into first production version on October 2022, some months ago, actually. That's not less than a year ago. And it was, again, very well satisfied the users. So other projects, so I'm saying this because I wanted to clarify that our main focus, because of our main focus in cited part of the things is games. Currently, we are creating games for sighted people. We just wanted to take this opportunity for visually impaired users and move to this section of work. And possible future updates or new works, they will be probably, I cannot say for sure, but they will probably be in games section. So we are just welcoming any opinions, any designs, any ideas about which types of games we should make for visually impaired users. You can, users can reach out in our comment sections. The comment section of the accessible 3D audio maze game is actually a great place to say your suggestions and ideas. We both get comments for this application and better attention from we get better attention from visually impaired users, and it helps the game to be seen, and also we get the idea and we can act on it. That's it.
Thank you so much for coming on today and talking about Telelight, something we've been wanting to talk about, and most especially, we do have people on both our email and Telegram groups that actually use Telelight and have been using that for quite a while now, and so great to finally get to talk to you. And besides the access to you guys via the app or via your contact on the Play Store page, is there another way that you would like people to get hold of you, or all this that we have already is sufficient? In other words, if someone wants to send you a question, they could just go to the Play Store, go to your web page there or your contact page there and click on that, expanding the contact section, and they could either send you an email and things like that. Is that the way that we say people should just go ahead and contact you? Should they have the need besides contacting you via the app?
Yes, we have other forms too. For doing any suggestions or reporting any issues on the applications or game that has been published on the Google Play, the best place is in comments, because we review all of them, we respond all of them, and they're taken very seriously. They're entered into they enter a part of our workflow, and they go through reviews by our developers, our designers. But if any other kind of issue that's not that does not fit into that category, they can just contact us via our Twitter, which the link for is in our website. Also, we have a YouTube channel. It's the link is also on our website, telelight.me, telelight.me/en, and also they can contact us on Telegram by our support ID, which is Telelight_support, @Telelight_support, and also they can contact our Telelight bot, which is specifically dedicated to the issues that users may have with purchasing Telelight or for reporting bugs. The ID for the bot is @TelelightBot, as a whole, no spaces. @TelelightBot. That's it.
Thank you so much again for coming, and I am sure that we will have people subscribing to Telelight. Most especially, people should take advantage of this and give it a try. Since you have 30 days to try it, I think it's a good gesture. And so if you're listening to us, take advantage of this and check out Telelight. And we want you to say thanks to the other members of your team for working hard in making sure that we have an accessible Telegram client. We are so thankful.
Thank you too. I want to thank all the team members, especially Saleh, who introduced us to your podcast and introduced you to us. I just checked your YouTube, your podcast. They're all amazing. It seems that they will get more attention in the near future, hopefully. Thank you for having me, and I encourage all the users to take this opportunity and get the 1 month free subscription of Telelight. Thanks.
Thank you.
Coming up next is the tip of the week. Stay tuned for tips, tricks, and more about Android.
We now move on to our next segment, and we're talking about the tip of the week. And Ed's standing by, even though he's not here, busy in that pop of his. Whatever. Ed is not with us here today, as you can tell, but he does have a tip of the week, most especially for those of you guys in the UK, and it has to do with the new alert system that you guys have gotten. And so here's Ed demonstrating that new alert system, emergency system that you guys have in the UK.
Hello everyone, I'm Ed Green, and I'm here with a tip of the week about emergency alerts. And I'm doing this now because the UK is rolling out an emergency alert system which it's going to test on Sunday the 23rd of April at 3 p.m. Now this already exists in countries like Canada, I think in the US, and it's designed to notify mobile phone, cell phone owners of risks or threat to life. The UK uses examples like fire or flooding or other severe weather events when they might notify people in a locality that their life is in danger. And they'll do it through sending an alert to a mobile phone. And this alert is going to sound something like this. That's taken from the government video, so I assume that's the sound they're going to use. And the thing about this is all your phone needs to be is connected to a 4G or 5G network. It doesn't need to have mobile data, it doesn't need to have Wi-Fi, and this thing is going to sound even if your phone is on silent or is in Do Not Disturb. The only way your phone won't sound is either if it's turned off. If emergency alerts aren't supported, they are on phones running Android 11 and above, and maybe on certain models running Android 10. It won't sound if you're in airplane mode, because you're not connected to a cell tower or mobile phone masts, and if you disable emergency alerts in settings. Now, as I say, it will be fairly localised when it happens for real, because it'll notify people connected to the mobile phone masts in a certain area, so location services don't come into play. So if you're in an area susceptible or that has experienced flooding where there's a risk to life, they may issue an alert. Now, this test on the 23rd of April at 3 p.m. is going to be national, and I absolutely always recommend that you leave emergency alerts enabled. Clearly, they're not going to be issued very often, and it will be, as I've said a couple of times, only when there's an actual threat to life. But I am going to show you how to disable them. You are supposed to be able to swipe these alerts away once you've seen them, but obviously that's quite a loud sound, and Talkback users may not be able to. I don't know if that audio will be lowered. Will it be ducked by Talkback? I'm not sure, and there's no particularly easy way to check. It might be quite a shocking sound if it happens unexpectedly. I got one in Vancouver at 4 a.m. That certainly surprised me, because I had no idea what was going on, and my phone was in Do Not Disturb, as it is overnight, but nonetheless, it sounded. And there's been talk of this being a particular risk to people in abuse situations who may have a secret mobile phone hidden somewhere where they can contact the outside world. And obviously, if this thing goes off, chances are that an abuser may find it. So while I recommend that you do absolutely keep it enabled, I am nonetheless going to show you how to turn it off. So we need to go into our settings app, which we've demonstrated a lot recently, and we've been through this setting, but I want to just show you again because of what's happening in the UK. Now, you could just type emergency alerts into the search box if you like, or you can go down and we're looking for safety and emergency in settings.
Safety and emergency.
I'm going to double tap here.
Safety and emergency. Back button out of list.
Now, while it is called safety and emergency on most phones to handsets, what you'll see in safety and emergency does vary. So I'm just going to, you can either swipe or run your finger down the screen, and I'm going to look for emergency alerts.
Safety and emergency. Open emergency information button and list. Emergency information. Emergency SOS. Emergency location service on. Earthquake alerts on. Emergency alerts.
This is what we want, emergency alerts. I'm going to double tap here.
Emergency alerts. Navigate up button out of list. Allow alerts on, switch and list.
Now, allow alerts is on. That's the main control in here, but there are different categories of alert, which I'll show you in a minute. But if I turn this off, you will see that all of the two other categories in here become disabled by default. So I'll just toggle this off for now, and I'll show you what I mean.
Off. Alerts heading. Extreme alerts. Extreme threats to life and property off. Switch disabled. Severe alerts. Severe threats to life and property off. Switch disabled.
So you'll see that those are now disabled because I turned off emergency alerts at the top. I could leave emergency alerts on and only turn one of these two off. So I could turn off severe and keep extreme, for instance. And in that way, emergency alerts would be on, but one of the categories would be off. I actually want my emergency alerts to be on, so I'm going to go and turn this back on.
Extreme alerts. Alerts heading. Allow alerts off. Switch on.
But that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you would go about disabling emergency alerts if you wanted to.
Thank you so much, Ed, for that. And get back here next week, and let's get the podcast going.
this is the segment for you. You can ask us your question and we will answer it. Simply record your question and email it to us.
That would be it, though, for this week. Austin standing by to give you information on how to get hold of us when you need to get hold of us.
To contact us, you can send an email to contactus@blindandroidusers.com. You can join our mailing list by sending an email to Blind Android Users plus subscribe at groups.io. You can join our Telegram, Facebook, Discord, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The links for everything will be at the bottom of the show notes and also in the video description of the YouTube channel. And also the links are in the websites panel of the YouTube channels.
That's it for this week. And from me, it's goodbye.
Goodbye. Have a great week.
Later.
Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Blind Android Users Podcast. Until we see you next week, don't forget to leave us your comments and suggestions via our email contact or using any of our social media sites. Have a great week.